so today we're talking about the Sig Sauer MCX rifle. This one happens to be a 5.56 variant, but they make it in 300 blackout. This is a really cool newer rifle that Sig came out with as their sort of, duty rifle for the world. They have their own totally designed from the ground up gas piston system in this. It's really unique to them. They designed this thing with caliber interchangeability in mind, so you can quickly and easily swap out barrels and change calibers. They put ambi almost everything on it. You've got an ambi safety, mag release, ambi charging handle. I think the only thing it doesn't have is an ambi bolt release. I was pretty pleasantly surprised by this gun. I usually don't like duty guns, really basic, ones without all the frills. I'm kind of spoiled by shooting competition guns all the time, so I'm just used to that. So I came into this thinking this was going to be really jumpy, and I was really not going to like it. And I actually, it was way softer shooting than I thought it was going to be, having just a flash hider on there instead of a competition style muzzle brake like I'm used to. Yeah. And the trigger takes a little getting used to when you're used to shooting comp triggers, but it was fine after a couple rounds. And I understand why SIG did those things, because this is supposed to come out of the gates as like a duty rifle, right. Something you can sell to an agency or a police department or whatever, so I understand why it has those features instead of the souped up features. But it's got a ton of Air Parts Compatibility, so if you want to go down that route and upgrade it, you certainly can. You can put a different muzzle brake on it, you can put a different trigger in it, so that those options are there. The only, possible downside, of course, would probably be the price. They do go for $1850 now with the 2017 model, which does have a nicer stock than this one. But I think you're getting a lot of, engineering out of that's maybe not evident right away. So.
Yeah, no, out of the box, I think it did great. There was you kind of look at it, when you first look at it, you kind of think it's going to be clunkier, it's going to be heavier, the stock's going to be uncomfortable, you're going to have a sticky trigger and things like that. And right out of the box, no, it was definitely impressionable for sure. Shot incredibly well. That was definitely not what I was expecting, and not to reiterate what what you were saying, but I was a little worried about the handguard and just control and things like that. But right off the bat, it just shot really well, and it was actually really fun. It was really fun to get away from the competition rifles and to shoot something.
Shoot like a good duty rifle.
A good duty rifle. Yeah.
It's just like, let's put together something for to reach the lowest price point possible. Yeah. This is no, this is a nice duty rifle.
Yeah, it's really out of the box, it was actually totally worth it. For sure.
This is the stuff you hope your township buys for.
Yeah,
right. From everything, the reliability of it, the whole, and I, like you said, the stock, right off the bat, I asked you when you walked back, I was like, how was that stock? And it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, didn't notice it.
Yeah, so.
All right, well, I was pleasantly surprised too. We did, well, this is the original variant of the MCX. This is a used gun we got into the store. We all shot the MCX in 300 blackout, was it 2 years ago now? And I actually came to the table expecting not to like it, remembering how it felt that day. But this one in 5.56 I actually liked a lot better. The recoil impulse on it was a lot better than 300 blackout, and now that makes sense. Why it would be different. Just because of the differences in caliber. I do like that as a piston gun. I think there's some interesting things we can do with pistons, especially as suppressors become more prevalent in the consumer market. Yeah. I would, however, like to see. I'm kind of over the duty rifle excuse for some of the crudeness of some of these rifles. Okay. So there are other piston companies who offer more than 2 settings on their gas block. Sure. There's suppressed and unsuppressed on this rifle, where there are different pressure curves in a couple different categories of cans now. So some other manufacturers have offered more than 1 setting for suppressors on their gas block. So I would, in a rifle that costs $1,800, I would kind of like to see that. Yep. Same thing with the trigger. I'm kind of over it's a duty trigger excuse. We work with some people who make really nice duty triggers that come in at 4.5 or 5.5 pounds and don't have the creep or the squishiness that this one does. So again, if you're gonna charge $1,800, giving me a trigger that I'm gonna throw away, I feel is kind of lame. And yeah, the stock has to go. I think this part has probably blown more MCX sales for me than anything else. There's tons of people who come into the store that want to buy this rifle, and on the consumer side, they just can't get over the stock. So it's a really great rifle that has some execution issues, I think, on the consumer side.
Sure.
But no, I definitely liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to this time.
And the good news is the stock did go. They replaced it with a different one at 2017.
Yeah, I'm still not a fan of that.
Okay.
I've seen that. like all of your options are lame. You know, it's like it's.
Yeah, but I mean, you're trading something on the stock, so
that's true.
You're trading up the foldability and all that cool stuff.
True.
So okay, so I loved it. I mean, the price sucks. So that SIG $1,850 for your guns. Your poop doesn't smell like roses. It is honestly, that's too much. So getting over that for a second, this was an absolute joy to shoot. Yeah, the trigger is kind of crappy, but that's about the only knock I would give to it. And it wasn't gritty, it was just a little spongy for me. It has that sort of SIG clock at the end. It doesn't click, it's not a nice clean break. But it was totally manageable. After a couple of rounds, I fell right into the rhythm of it. I loved how the weight was awesome. If I had to hump this thing for days on end for any reason, you know what I mean. If I had to carry this thing, if I had to carry this thing for any length of time, it was it was well balanced. It shot fantastic, and we just slapped an optic on it, a very heavy one at that, and it shot beautifully. So and yeah, the stock. I honestly thought I've shouldered this thing in the store a few times and thought it was miserable, but when I actually just put it up, I wasn't thinking about it. It felt great. It was really good. I mean, yeah, maybe if you shot all day long, this would start to be an annoyance. But for a duty gun, generally speaking, you're not going to be on this thing for hours and hours and hours. So I thought it's a really well executed rifle. I think SIG is starting to do some really interesting things in modular design and all that kind of stuff. Handguard was the ergos were good on it. It was a little fatter than I would necessarily like in kind of the wrong places, but it didn't bother me. I give it a thumbs up, and that is qualified though with the fact that it is at $1,850. There are some other, you're a couple of $100 short of like the next option in the piston guns, and you're certainly, you'd be considering a Daniel defense against this, probably something like that. I mean,
PWS, LWRC.
Well, but you're talking the kick up. That's the kick up. I'm talking at the $1,800 price range. PWS, LWRC.
PWS sells for exactly the same price this does.
I thought it was $2,100 for the PWS.
LWRC is definitely a little.
The LWRC is okay. Yeah. So PWS would be another great choice if you like the more of the they're putting a lot more in their guns than this. But if you were kind of comparing apples to apples, I think it'd be this or a Daniel Defense for most people that are seeking this rifle anyway.
Yeah, or Adams Arms. Adams Arms would be another.
Adams Arms would be another interesting one. So, anyway, but I love the gun. I think it's great. I give it a thumbs up with the qualification that, like, if you could find a used one like this, we have it in the shop for like $1,100 right now. This is totally worth all day long $1,100 for me.
I think it's a little bit more than that, but
so 12, whatever.
Somewhere in that range.
Don't get all excited.
It's probably going to be sold by the time this video gets posted.
Yeah, more but I mean, if these are starting to find their way into the used market, and you could pick one up for, let's say, $1,100 to $1,300,
it's totally worth it.
Then it's totally worth that. Yeah, this would be an excellent rack gun. They're really, really good. So thumbs up for me.
I would give it a thumbs up as well. Like I said, I have a few execution issues, I think, for the consumer market that I would like to see changed. Honestly, this particular variant I'm not super thrilled about, but like an SBR version, I think that's the one that makes the most sense.
It's a sweet gun.
They make this one for people who don't want to do the stamps. But if you really want, what the MCX really is the SBR version of it. And so if I were going to do one, I would do that one, and I do like it in that format. Not super stoked on this one, but it is a good rifle. It does shoot very well. I had a very manageable recoil impulse, and it runs great. So.
Yep. No, I would give it a thumbs up as well. I mean, not only that coming out of the box like this, but like you had said earlier, I mean, you can add to this however you want and cater to it. And I mean, it can be anything from like full blown changing it all out, or just a couple of changes in the trigger or whatnot, and you're gonna get exactly what you need.
Cool.
Yep, thumbs up. I enjoyed shooting it, and it's got a lot of cool engineering that went into it.
Yep.
And I mean, that is part of the price of what you're paying for with this gun is
That's
the
fair.
you know, totally redesigned recoil. I mean, redesigned piston system.
Yeah, the
From the ground
buffer
up.
system is completely
Yeah, piston and
different,
buffer
too.
system is very unique. The caliber interchangeability and everything. So you are getting a lot out of it that you may not initially see on the surface.
Yeah, but that's his complaint though. Is in the consumer market, those things we know a lot of people come and say, I want the
Right.
caliber conversion kit. If you check in with them 6 months later, like, how'd that work out for you? They're like, what? I didn't actually do that.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
They could have chose some different SKUs in their catalog, and
Yep.
it would probably have hit the market a completely different way with
Right.
parts that they already make for this.
Yeah, very cool.
But thumbs up for me too.
Thumbs up across the board.